Hello everyone, my name is Brendon Leigh, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to master traction control on F1 23. We're going to go through all of the basics, how differential, different steering angles can also affect the grip level and also lap time potential because of that. With that being said, let's hit the track and get to our first example. So you join me on track here at Circuit of the Americas in Texas, in fact. And we're going to talk about the first and foremost thing, really. What is traction control? And it's a settings in the assist part of the menu that allows the game to automatically adjust your throttle usage to make sure that you're not overly going over the grip level of the rear tires, causing slip and causing wheel spin, in fact. So what does this look like? When you have traction control turned on, we're going to go to 13,000 RPM, put it in first gear, and you can see the game will automatically make sure that I do not get wheel spin from the car. Although this is much easier to drive, it is slower. In fact, in all of my experience, driving without traction control is faster, albeit more difficult to master. So what we're going to do now is turn off traction control in the assist part of the menu and show you the differences on how much difficult it is to get off the line and why your practice, precision and calmness in your learning process is absolutely critical. So we're going back to 13,000 RPM, shift it into first gear, and you can see the car is just going to spin out to the left. And instantly, as soon as I started to come off the line, you can see the black lines left by the tyres wheel spinning away from the line. Of course, this is a massive negative, so let's talk about it a bit more. How can you feel wheel spin? How can you anticipate wheel spin? So in sim racing, when you're using a racing wheel like I am, you have two main sensories. What's happening with the wheel that you're touching, and also what's happening on screen, and you can pick this up with your eyes. So we're going to talk about the steering wheel one first, and how I feel the wheel spin from the car and traction loss. So we're going to be talking about the wheel settings a bit here. Of course, everyone has their own wheel settings and how they like to feel understeer and oversteer. When I have a wheel spin and oversteer, my racing will actually go lighter to tell me what's happening. When I have understeer, it will go heavier to tell me what's happening. So if I'm going through these sequence of corners, I'm going to basically try to anticipate and force myself to get wheel spin through here. So I'm going to be going down, leave it in fifth gear, and you can see the car starts to slide. And I'm just automatically correcting the car and doing these little micro adjustments, now big adjustments, because the wheel goes lighter. And my brain is automatically conditioned and trained to pick up the subtle differences in the wheel's weight and how I can actually correct the car. So if you're on a racing wheel, when the wheel goes lighter, that's to tell you that there's traction loss from the rear of the car in most cases. When the wheel goes heavier, that's to do with understeer, but that's for a different day in a different video. We're just talking about wheel spin and traction loss today. So you can see, if I look to the rear of the car, and as soon as I go into first gear and I'm going to anticipate to make some wheel spin again, you can see I'm just automatically catching the car because the wheel's going lighter in one direction and my brain automatically knows how to pick this up. This will take time for your brain to condition itself to this formality and also the adaptability of understanding how much to correct the wheel. It took me 6 months of consistent training and racing to actually get to learn to not race without traction control, and this was back in 2014. So it's not going to be happening overnight, and I've been fortunate enough to win 2 F1 Esports World Championships, and it took me 6 months. So, you know, it's going to take time for everyone. It doesn't happen like a snap of a finger, and you definitely cannot be too demanding on yourself and too harsh on yourself. It's going to take time, it's going to take process, and it's going to take dedication. But with the correct steps, you'll learn it in time, and the enjoyment and satisfaction from learning it will be oh so high, and your ability to play the game and play other racing games as well, I think you'll enjoy the game so much more. The second point we're going to talk about is the eyesight in sim racing. So this can also help quite a lot. Although I don't use this as much to correct wheel spin and oversteer, it can still be a very useful tool. If you're driving like this, you can see how much the car is rotating on the screen versus the track surface itself. So if you're turning the wheel and your car is rotating faster than you're actually turning your wheel, that means that you can have the wheel spin and oversteer. So if you're coming out the corner and your car starts pointing to the left when you're not really wanting it to, that's a good signal for having wheel spin and oversteer. I'm going to make it happen out of turn 1 for you, and I'm going to apply the throttle, and you're going to be able to see that the car rotates faster than it actually should. So you can see now, yeah, there you go. It's very subtle, but it's a good way to pick it up, especially if you're playing on a controller, keyboard, or force feedback racing wheel that doesn't give that many details. Relying on the screen and comparing the speed rotation of the car versus the tarmac underneath the car can be not a simple way, not an easy way, but can definitely be a way to understand the wheel spin and oversteer from the car. So we're going to talk about how to manage wheel spin now. And basically the most simple way to manage wheel spin is when you're in a straight line with the car and the steering wheel is pointed straight. The car has an even weight distribution over the rear axle, and this will generate an even amount of grip for you to accelerate on. When the car is pointing to the left or pointing to the right and the wheels are turned, you will have an uneven weight platform for the rear of the car to do the demands that you're putting on it. So this is why cars have the ability to mostly go full throttle when you're in a straight line. You see very much progressively gaining and putting the throttle down oh so carefully when the car is cornering, but as soon as you get to a straight line, you can be much more aggressive with this throttle. So I'm going to show you an example now. As I'm coming over the crest of the hill, when the car is turning in the right direction, I get up to, let's see, 75% throttle before I have the wheel spin. And we're going to do a very scientific test right now. So to put this into action, what we're going to do is we're going to accelerate to 40 miles an hour, and then we're going to turn the wheel to the left, and then we're going to accelerate to 40 miles an hour and keep the wheel straight. Both times we're going to apply 100% throttle, and then that will give us the ability to show a direct apples to apples comparison for you at home. So what we're going to do, accelerate to 40 miles an hour, or as close as we can, 40 miles an hour, turn to left, full throttle, and the car spins. So what we're going to do now is the exact same test, go up to 40 miles an hour, and just apply the throttle in a straight line. So second gear, 40 miles an hour we're looking for, same conditions. I get a little bit of wheel spin, but you can see the car picks up much better traction straight away, and I'm able to accelerate down the straight. So although there's a lot of lessons that lie within that trick, or I'm happy to do follow-up videos for, but today I want to keep it very simple and very precise for you at home to have the maximum learning capability and capacity that you can. When you're exiting corners, wait to be to straight lines to be at full throttle. If you're turning and then you try to apply full throttle, you have the risk of spinning out like I just did just then. So like I say, the very basic rule here is that when your car is turning, never apply 100% power. When your car is in a straight line, you have the ability to start having the confidence to apply 100% power. Of course, different corners have different rules. Cop's Corner is flat out and you are turning, but this very much applies to traction zones only and at middle to low speed corners. So now we're going to be talking about how you can gain confidence while running no traction control. This will take time and a process like I alluded to earlier, but the way to gain confidence is to be on the first lap applying a really slow amount of throttle. You can see I'm only going to 100% when I was in 5th gear. So then start applying this. So we're going to go very slowly through here and really work our way up. So you can see we're already 3 seconds off my personal best, but that doesn't matter. What we're doing is going very slowly here through here, not sliding the car at all, and we're going to be applying the throttle in a very, very, very smooth way across the hill, and even get a tracking relegation warning, so ignore that. But then we're going to go into flashback mode, and we're going to do the exact same sequence of corners, starting from underneath this banner, and we're going to start applying faster and faster on the throttle. And you can see coming over the hill, and we're starting to really get a bit more speed. We're exiting at 110 miles an hour that time. And basically you can just keep on building this up and building this up and building this up until you get wheel spin and oversteer, and then bring it back a little bit. So now we're going to go too aggressive. You can see we're understeering wide and the car's sliding and it's a bit of oversteer. So we know that we went too aggressive on this time. So we're going to do it one more time, and we're basically going to build up slower this time. So now we're going to find that Goldilocks zone in the middle, and the car's rotating nicely, smoothly on the power, and across the hill we're exiting at 120 miles an hour on that corner. So like I say, it's not going to happen overnight, it's not going to happen in a click of a finger, but given enough time and enough process, you will be able to build yourself up into a confidence zone that you are faster than you was while using traction control, and be able to compete in league racing, career mode, F1 esports, even if you desire to one day. Following up from this advice, is the ability to consistently improve in the future. Because I don't want to just make a video for today and teach you the very basics of it. I want to be able to teach you and educate you on how you can keep on improving yourself into the future and keep it as a ground basic rule for yourself in all the racing that you do at home. I want to make it as enjoyable of experience to be sim racing for you as well. So the stuff that you want to keep on improving over time is, of course, get on the throttle earlier and earlier and earlier, apply the power and apply more speed for the apex as well. Start looking out for different curbings that you can use to gain lap time on. For example, here on the inside you can use a little bit of the curbing without risking too much wheel spin and oversteer. And then looking on the exit curve here, you can use plenty of curb on the exit and into the final corner. Although it's easier to drive the track with not using the curb, it is faster, and I'm going to show you that it's faster to run the car wider onto the exit curb, and that will help you gain more speed onto the straight. And little tricks like this can help you, well, move up the ranks in time trial, league racing, and enjoyment in racing as well. Because personally, one of my biggest satisfaction in racing is being able to improve myself. So unlike the final corner, you cannot use the exit curb on turn 1 here. So there's different corners that require different demands of approach. A great piece of advice that I have is to keep up to date with F1 esports drivers and watch their hot lap guides on YouTube, as that gives you ability to see what the best in the world are doing on how they can maximize the lap time potential of the car. And that will give you a shortcut, in fact, on how you can improve yourself as well. The very final thing we're going to be talking about today is a differential. If you look to the bottom right hand side of your screen, while we're running 100% differential, that basically means the rear tyres are going to rotate at the same speed, and that actually, although it gives a better traction in a straight line, that will give you more confidence and ability to get on the power sooner, as the rear tyres will be more predictable. It's slower. So while you're starting out with no traction control, I would advise running it around 80-85%, and as you get more and more confident, lower it down to 55%, what is about the fastest differential setting that you can run in this game. Of course, some tracks will require different demands, but as a general baseline, 55% on-throttle differential is around the fastest that you can run. So like I say, when you start out with not using traction control, put the on-throttle differential to 80-85%, and then as you build up more confidence and commitment and speed, and you want to start pushing the boundaries a bit more, lower it down to 55%, and that will basically be as low as you want to go, and that will give you more speed in the car, more rotation, and be more on the limit of the traction possibilities of your racing car. So I want to say a massive thank you for watching today's video. I massively appreciate the support on the channel recently. It's really been blowing my mind, to be honest. Like, the amount of love, support, and generosity of people's comments has just, you know, it's been making many of my days, to be honest. I've been pushing quite hard to release content that I feel proud of for the internet, and seeing that people are enjoying it really keeps me motivated to keep on making more and more content for you in the future. So I want to say a big thank you, and yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. It means the world to me, truly. And I've been Brendon Leigh, and I will catch you in the next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Ciao, ciao. Bye bye.